I started 2026 feeling ambitious as can be, despite the horrors. And we're now about halfway through the year. So how am I doing on those art goals? What even are those art goals? 1 is to do 1 art trade a month. 2 is to keep my commissions open consistently. I set those art goals because I wanted to make more art I enjoy, which happened to be art for other people, and to avoid dry spells with my commission work. If you want to set your own art goals, check out the first video in this series. I walk through my process of how I came up with my goals and plans to stick with them, which I think should give you a solid idea for your own. Even though it's halfway through the year, the best time to start is yesterday, and the second best is today. Anyway, the point of my art goals wasn't to grind out some random stupid productivity metric. That's terrible. That's a bad idea. They're supposed to help me be a way happier artist by enabling me to make stuff I like and not, have to stress about living. And for the most part, I've been successful. But as I said, man, do the horrors persist. Unfortunately for the horrors, so do I. Oh, and Stardew Valley persists. Come on. You didn't think I wasn't gonna start the third video in this series about my art goals without mentioning what game I was playing over my vacation, right? Come on. The third time's the charm in the bit. I just have to do it. Speaking of me, hi, hello. I'm Grim Vestige. I make videos about my journey trying to make freelance art a sustainable career so I don't literally explode under the crushing weight of capitalism. When can we have the post-scarcity Star Trek future without the horrors of Omelas, please? I already explained the basics of my art goals this year, but here's the gist of how I stuck to them and how I was doing as of the last video. If you want a little more than just a recap, there should be a playlist link somewhere on this screen so you can watch the first and second parts of this series. Now, goal number 1 was to do at least 1 art trade every month. I stuck to this by having a recurring task to set up an art trade every month. That way I couldn't forget. And I also made a list of people I wanted to ask so that when that task came up, I didn't stare at it like, who do I do an art trade with? This honestly worked out great for the first 3 months. And then, the next 3, that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Goal number 2 was to keep a steady stream of commissions. This meant another recurring task, this time to advertise my work. I really like planning and recurring tasks, can you tell? However, this had the important caveat to advertise my waitlist instead if I had too much work. That way, I'd be consistent with my advertising and have more work ready when I had the time and energy for it. This went mostly well for the first 3 months. I did keep a steady stream of work, but that ended up pointing out where other cracks in my workload management were, which resulted in me doing an overhaul of my Patreon to streamline things. And we will get into the impact of that overhaul in this video after we talk about the details of how my art trades went. Speaking of that, here's how I did on my art trades for the past 3 months. Wait, hold on a minute. That's 2 pieces of art. I'm supposed to make 1 art trade a month, and one of those is for a potluck art swap rather than a straight up art trade. Hold on a minute here. Okay, so being totally honest, I counted the potluck art swap event because that involved me making art for someone else, and I am super happy with it. But that doesn't explain the fact that there were 2 pieces for 3 months. I I just didn't get a third art trade done in June. I was crazy swamped with work, and I had to accept that adding something else to my plate wouldn't be the kind option, so I simply chose not to do it. That said, what I did make, I'm really happy with. I got to be self-indulgent and draw my friend's Vampire the Masquerade character being really mad at her sire for some stuff that happened in our game, but it's fine. They worked it out. It's great. The other piece that wasn't a straight-up art trade was for an art swap event known as the Potluck Secret Satan. Basically, it's a Secret Santa where everyone makes art gifts for someone random, and the original event was tiefling themed, hence the name being Secret Satan. It's a devil joke. Yeah, it's a devil Satan joke. There you go, tieflings. Anyway, the potluck edition of the event is open to any type of tabletop role-playing game character, so of course I joined with my VTM characters. And of course, when I got my assigned person to draw for, I drew their Curse of Strahd character, who was basically Odysseus isekai'd into Barovia, hence the yearning you see in this piece. Even though I didn't hit all my goals, I'm still happy with the progress I made. I made more art that I'm happy with, and to be honest, I think Art Fight is going to make up for the lack of art in June. Speaking of, I'm gonna be counting Art Fight as my art trade for July because, like, it's also making art for other people. It just makes sense, you know? But this was the thing that went nicely. There is still another elephant in the room to talk about. So I simultaneously succeeded and failed at keeping a steady stream of commissions these past 3 months. Don't get me wrong, I'm still kind of overwhelmed with work at the moment and clawing my way out from under it like the feral gremlin I am. But it wasn't commissions that were overwhelming. A lot of real life stuff happened that made things hard, and the Patreon overhaul was a lot of work. But I do think the overhaul was worthwhile. It streamlined a lot of stuff into 1 or 2 things, and we even had our first community night and played Gartic Phone, which was super fun. We'll be scheduling July's community night soon, which will be some group creative time in honor of Art Fight. So if you're interested in joining that, there will be a link to pledge to my Patreon in the description below. But what about having a regular stream of commissions? How about that part? So I do technically have that, but it's been in the form of a backlog to work through, which, to be totally honest, is kind of overwhelming. Despite my goal to not close my commissions and just use a waitlist, I decided to properly close them because, again, this is the kinder option towards myself. Right now, I don't think I want to make any changes to that. I want to keep working through what's on my plate, and that way when I come back in 3 months around the end of the year, I'm not overwhelmed. I gotta be ready for the holiday rush of commissions. Plus, I've also been experimenting with digital products. And that's been nice to have a few extra bucks in my pocket that I didn't have to make new art for. So when I do come back to check in on my art goals in 3 months, I want to think about something like a global slot system to manage my workload better. But that is for the long term. And that's how my art goals have gone over the past 3 months. Sorry, it's not a big dramatic video. That's probably terrible for the algorithm. But I'd rather be honest. It's been a tough road, but definitely one I've found worth walking. And I hope your art goals have been serving you well. And hey, if this is what gets you to set some, then that rules. I'll let you know how this all goes in October, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope these videos checking in on my art goals have been a nice peek into my thinking as an artist, and for those of you who are creative, that it's been a nice companion for you while you work. If this video has done any of those things, this is where I humbly tip my hat to you and ask you to like, comment, or subscribe, as that is what tells the YouTube algorithm gods that this video is, in fact, worth watching. With that, be cozy, be kind, and make something cool.